Hello everyone, my name is Syeda Kazmi and today we're going to talk about Crohn's disease and how it affects the human body. Here is an overview of what we're going to talk about. Summary of Crohn's disease, origin of the disease and what is affected in the body, statistics on who gets the disease, symptoms, diagnosis and treatment, patterns of the disease, what foods triggers this disease, quality of life for people with the disease, and the economic status for people with the disease. The causes of Crohn's disease is currently unknown. The current theories are the immune system attacks itself and mutations in the environment. It has often been thought of as an autoimmune disease, but research suggests that the chronic inflammation may not be due to the immune system attacking the body itself, but rather a result of the immune system attacking harmless virus, bacteria, or food in the gut, causing inflammation that leads to bone injury. Crohn's disease can cause other parts of the body to become inflamed due to chronic inflammatory activity, including the joints, eyes, mouth, and skin. In addition, gallstones and kidney stones may also develop as a result of Crohn's disease. Moreover, children with the disease may experience decreased growth or delayed sexual development. The inheritance pattern of Crohn's disease is unclear because many genetic and environmental factors are likely to be involved. However, Crohn's disease tends to cluster in families. About 50% of affected people have a first-degree relative, such as a parent or a sibling, with the disorder. According to the National Library of Medicine, researchers have identified at least 200 genetic variations that influence Crohn's disease risk. The majority of these variations are thought to act by subtly changing the amount, timing, and location of gene activity. The mechanism by which many of variations influence disease risk is unknown, although they probably alter immune system function in some way. Considered together, the known genetic variations account for only a small percentage of the total Crohn's disease risk that is due to genetic factors. Crohn's disease is a chronic inflammatory disease of the gastrointestinal tract. Its primary cause is ulceration in the large and small intestines. It usually affects the large and small intestines but occur anywhere in the GI tract from the mouth to the anus. Who gets Crohn's disease? According to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, about 1.4 million Americans have Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. In the years between 1992 and 2004, there was a 74% increase in doctor's office visits due to Crohn's disease. In 2004, Crohn's disease was the cause of 50,000 hospitalizations. Anyone can develop Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. In the United States, males and females get Crohn's about the same rate. Caucasians and Jews develop Crohn's at a higher rate than other ethnicities. The highest rates occur in Canada. In general, people who live in higher latitudes are more likely to develop Crohn's than those who live in lower latitudes. When recolating from a low latitude to a higher latitude region, the risk of developing Crohn's matches that of the high latitude region within a single generation. This graph was taken from WebMD about Crohn's disease. It presents the ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease prevalence rate in the United States between 1990 and 2012. UC has been increasing because factors that worsen Crohn's disease include infections, cigarette smoking, and certain anti-inflammatory drugs. The primary importance of prevalence estimates is to gain an understanding of the portion of people in a given population at a given point in time who remain alive after received a diagnosis of Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Prevalence indicates how widespread the disease is. Crohn's disease affects the organs of the digestive tract. As shown here, it affects the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, anus. In Crohn's disease, the immune system mistakenly attacks healthy bacteria in the GI tract. Chronic inflammation causes thickening of the intestinal wall, which triggers symptoms. There are many symptoms of Crohn's disease. Most people with Crohn's disease experience urgent bowel movements as well as crampy abdominal pain. These symptoms vary from person to person and may change over time. Together, these may result in loss of appetite, subsequent weight loss. These symptoms, along with anemia, can also lead to fatigue. Children with Crohn's disease may fail to develop or grow properly. People with Crohn's disease can experience periods of severe symptoms followed by periods of remission that can last for weeks or years. The symptoms of Crohn's disease depend on which disease occurs in the bowel and its severity. In general, symptoms can include chronic diarrhea, often bloody and containing mucus or pus, weight loss, fever, abdominal pain and tenderness, feeling of mass or fullness in the abdomen, and rectal bleeding. The more a person ignores the symptoms of Crohn's disease, the worse the flares will get. And as the flares get worse, the doctor will have a hard time diagnosing Crohn's disease because there are many different types of inflammatory diseases in the digestive tract. Other symptoms can develop depending on complications related to Crohn's disease. Other symptoms outside the intestines are redness and itching of the eyes, mouth sores, swelling and pain in the joints, bumps and other lesions in the skin, osteoporosis in the bones, kidney stones, and liver hepatitis and cirrhosis are rare. Although there are many symptoms of Crohn's disease, there are different patterns of the disease which infect the digestive tract. There are three different patterns of Crohn's disease. The first one is luminal fibrotenosis Crohn's disease, in which it generally follows a pattern of flares when symptoms occur and the condition worsens and remissions. The second one is luminal Crohn's disease, which refers to Crohn's disease causing inflammatory changes in the lumen or tube of the intestine. Last but not least, the third one is fistulizing Crohn's disease. Fistulas are abnormal channels between two loops of intestines, or between the intestine and another structure such as the vagina, bladder, or skin. A variety of diagnostic procedures and lab tests are used to find Crohn's disease from other inflammatory gastrointestinal conditions like ulcerative colitis. For example, family and personal history, stool tests, blood tests, colonoscopy, CAT scans, barium X-rays 10. A barium X-ray can show where and how severe Crohn's disease is. It is especially helpful for finding any problems in parts of the small intestine that can't be easily viewed by other techniques. After the exam, lab test, and imaging tests are done, your doctor will discuss the findings with you. If your doctor believes you have Crohn's disease, then you can work together to develop a treatment plan to manage the symptoms and control the disease. If you have Crohn's disease, you probably have found that certain food triggers your intestinal symptoms, especially when disease flares. Learning to avoid these foods triggered may allow you to self-manage Crohn's disease, reduce gastrointestinal symptoms, and promote intestinal healing. Although treatments cannot cure Crohn's disease, they can help most people live normal lives. Crohn's disease is treated primarily with medications including anti-inflammatory drugs, corticosteroids, immune system modifiers, antibiotics, antidiarrheal drugs, biological therapies, and surgery. Surgery is eventually required in about two-thirds to three-quarters of people with Crohn's disease. Surgery is done to treat complications of the disease such as fistulas, abscesses, hemorrhage, and intestinal obstructions, or to treat people who do not respond to medication. Response to therapy is evaluated with several weeks of starting treatment. Treatment is continued until remission is obtained, at which time the healthcare provider may consider maintenance therapy. No improvement calls for more aggressive therapy. Nutritional supplements may also be recommended by your doctor. Which foods should you avoid if you have Crohn's disease? Alcohol, butter, mayonnaise, margarine, oils, carbonated beverages, coffee, tea, chocolate, corn husk, dairy products if lactose intolerant, fatty foods, fried foods, foods higher in fiber, gas-producing foods, lentils, beans, legumes, cabbage, broccoli, and onions, nuts, seeds, peanut butter, other nut or butters, raw fruits, raw vegetables, red meat and pork, spicy foods, whole grains, and bran. That sounds like pretty much everything. While food appear to play no role in causing Crohn's disease, soft bland foods may cause less discomfort than spicy or high-fiber foods when the disease is active. Except for when restricting milk in lactose-intolerant people, most gastroenterologists try to be flexible in planning the diets of their Crohn's disease patients. Ask your doctor to create a dietary plan for you. If your Crohn's disease means that you have issues absorbing nutrients from your food, it's important to ensure that you follow a high-protein and high-calorie diet. Even if you don't particularly feel like eating, in this setting, an effective Crohn's disease diet plan based on recommendations taken from experts would emphasize regularly eating meals and snacks every day. This will help to ensure that you get the right amount of calories, proteins, and nutrients. In addition, you will probably receive recommendations for mineral supplements and vitamins from your doctor. There may be times when modifying your diet is also helpful, particularly during a flare. Some diets may be recommended at different times by a physician, including a low-salt diet, which is used during corticosteroid therapy to reduce water retention. Low-fiber diet, used to avoid blockages in Crohn's patients with strictures and to avoid stimulating bowel movements in Crohn's disease. A low-fat diet, typically recommended during a flare in Crohn's disease when fat absorption may become an issue. A lactose-free diet is for those who have intolerance to dairy products. High-calorie diet for those who experience weight loss or growth delay. Limiting certain foods in your diet should help you in controlling your symptoms during particularly bad system flares. However, it's important to make sure that you don't restrict your diet to the point of malnutrition. You will need to find other foods to replace protein, carbohydrates, calories, and fats that would generally come from foods that you remove from your diet. For instance, though fast foods are typically avoided in most healthy diets, they can offer a valuable supply of key calories and nutrients on an occasional basis. Measuring outcomes in Crohn's disease. Outcomes include hospitalization, surgery, disease complications, and death. Nutritional deficiencies and an inability to maintain a normal weight are a serious problem for many people, even children with Crohn's disease. By avoiding your trigger foods, you may find that your GI symptoms of gas, bloating, abdominal pain, cramping, and diarrhea are manageable. A study done in 2008 by UAP et al. Was to conduct a critical systematic literature review of the costs of Crohn's disease in Western industrialized countries. The results were important. Crohn's disease is an expensive disease. The costs were $18,000 and above per patient per year in the United States. About 53 to 67% of those costs were from hospitalizations. Costs were higher for patients with more severe disease activity. Patients in the top 25% averaged $60,582 per year. Those in the top 2% averaged more than $300,000 per year. In 2004, the United States spent $1.84 billion on Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. The Crohn's Colitis Foundation of America is the largest voluntary nonprofit health organization dedicated to finding a cure for IBD. CCFA has played a role in almost every major research breakthrough since its founding in 1967. Its mission is to cure Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis and to improve the quality of life of children and adults affected by these diseases. CCFA works to fulfill our mission by funding research, providing educational resources for patients and their families, medical professionals, and the public, and furnishing supportive services for people with IBD. Remember to always go to the doctor's office and ask questions if you think you have Crohn's disease. Here are some review of questions that can help you understand Crohn's disease even better. Thank you for your attention.